All right. So this all has to do with commitment. This is about commitment, y'all. And I think there's a little anxiety in regards to committing to something, taking that leap of faith, going down that direction of like saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to do this. It's hard because I think for a lot of you guys, either there it has been some people that have fallen through. This has a lot to do with plans. Like you can plan for the future, you can do all these things, but when it comes to execution, it's a whole new game. It's a whole new different thing because this means that you're telling yourself, as you are telling the universe and the people around you, this is what I'm doing with my life. And I think the thing is that it may restrict some freedoms. It may restrict some things that you believe that you can only do with a certain lifestyle that you have now. But you don't have to ever do it that way. You know, the thing that I see in this reading that's really clear for me is that nothing is ever set in stone, nor is something ever set in a certain direction or a certain way. You don't have to do it that way. If you don't like how something is going, if you don't like how something, has been, so how the flow of your life is going, you can change it. Yes, there may be sacrifices to that, but even at the same time, you don't have to make such huge sacrifices that make you feel like you have to be, that you're stuck in a prison. You get what I'm saying? I see prisoner, like, oh my God, I'm stuck like this situation. And I don't think you have to do that. You always can adjust. You can move things around until it fits fits you to the way that you can agree with. Okay. And I think expressing yourself is the biggest part, right? Because I think the hard part is like, I think you guys may want to do the thing that you want to do, but at the same time, you don't really know what it is that's freaking you out the most about it. Or the situation is that it's just a little bit too hard of a conversation to have. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and start with this person here with the mindset. Now, the mind playing here with the Knight of Pentacles tells me that this person definitely sees that this relationship is definitely, work intensive, takes a lot of time to manifest and grow. However, this person is also approaching this relationship from a very cautionary perspective. They're very cautious about how they move forward. Okay. Now, this person could very well be a Virgo. Don't have to be though. But I get the sense that this person is very close, pays attention to details, looks very closely at a situation. They're very, very, very patient. And it's mostly because they're also procrastinating and they don't really know what the hell they're looking at. So that's why they're taking their time looking at it a little closer, because they're not quite sure what the hell they are looking at quite yet. But they know that it's going to require them to really figure out what the hell it is that they're getting themselves into before they can even commit to saying, to whatever relationship that they're involved with or they're entertaining at this moment. Now, same deal. The other person taking time to do some research within themselves, figure out what they want, figure out what they need, understanding what their insecurities may be, understanding what things, some old traumas that need to be healed. Those sort of situations are coming up for this person with the Hermit energy. Now, considering the Hermit energy is coming up for this person in the mindset, this person is seeing this relationship as like, I don't think it's quite established yet. I don't think anybody's committed to the relationship quite yet. I think this person may be, but not even then, because I think this person's really committed to themselves and they understand that some things are going to have to change of their routine in order to integrate a relationship. But I feel like this person is also kind of seeing this time with this relationship, or this relationship is really like calling for them to look within themselves to figure out what is holding them back in the first place. What's really keeping them from taking this next step, or really, taking the time out to reflect on what they want, what their needs are, and kind of that direction. You know what I mean? And the reason why I say that is because the Fool is in their present, right? This person does show that they're open to new beginnings. It's taking a leap of faith. Okay, this person is definitely showing that. I don't think this person is deterred from taking a leap of faith, but this definitely, this relationship, opened the door for reflection. This person is taking the time now to really understand what they want, to figure out what they need, and really understanding what they've gone through and understanding them as a person from all the things that they've gone through, to be able to feel more confident in themselves to take that leap of faith. But I feel like, honestly, they're very confident in themselves anyway. Kind of been through a lot, like I said, but the situation is this, that they are not afraid to take the leap of faith. This person, a little bit leery. It's understandable. They've got some things in their spiritual plane that explains why. They've gone through some things where people may not have been very clear with them. It hasn't been very clear with them in relationships ever, really. This was one of those ones where they want to take it a little slower, take a little more time to really understand what they're really getting into. While this person is like, they know what they can handle, they know what they can't handle, and there's literally very little that they can't handle, and they're ready to go ahead and see what happens with this. The Chariot is definitely telling me that this person is ready to go. Okay? And they know that they are, they know that they can handle whatever comes at them because they have gotten the balance that they needed. They needed a balance, not of give and take, but they needed that shift, not shift in momentum, but more like they needed to understand what they needed to continue to push themselves towards the success that they feel that they can acquire. And that's balancing their head and their heart, right? Maintaining their heart, making sure that their needs are met. At the same time, coming up with solutions and ways to, motivate the mind rather than to continue force it. You know what I mean? This person is very much under control of themselves. They're like veterans here. They're going at this in a very lighthearted and fresh way, but they're seasoned. Okay, so this person I don't know if this person has an age difference, because we have the Hierophant coming up here and against the Fool, and that could indicate someone that's a little bit has different maturity levels. But at the same time, I think this person has gone through enough to know that there's nothing to really fear because they can handle whatever situation is thrown at them. On the other hand, though, like I said before, this person with the Nine of Pentacles kind of coming at this in a very cautionary stance. They have the Hierophant here in their body. So that to me indicates this person has definitely come up with a routine that's good for them, a style that works for them. They have already things in place that are not necessarily flexible, or they're not, not necessarily that they're not willing to flex, but they realize that they have to flex and put, to adjust things. I'm actually going to even pull for this, because the Hierophant, to me, it talks about changing what you believe, to change what you need to commit to something new, Commit to the new you, commit to the self, commit to, the loves of your lives, the work that you have, But you may have to adjust your pattern of behavior, come up with a routine that's fixed on that, if that makes sense. The Hierophant is clarified by the Hierophant. Okay. Definitely has something to do with what I just said. So this person is very structured. This person is very, very structured in their life. They love routine. They love consistency. The problem is that this person is looking for consistency in a situation that does not have anything to do with consistency. This is emotions here. This person's not coming from a place of emotion. They're coming from a place of, okay, well, as long as I can do this, 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 and this. So they're coming from it at a very practical standpoint, but they're not really, and it's because their emotions are radical. Now, the reason why I say radical is because the moon is coming out. The moon is inconsistent, is uncertain, is, mysterious, and has a lot of things that are not necessarily, understandable. You know what I mean? Because whatever you see in the dark can be misconstrued as something else. Because it's not, it's not clear. There's no sunlight. There's nothing that, helps to illuminate the area around you to understand what you're looking at. So you have to trust your intuition. This person is using their structure of their life as well as their practical mind, patience, diligence, detail orientation. They're using all these skills to help them move forward, when that's not going to help them take the leap of faith that they need to take if they're willing to go ahead and settle for the relationship, or start the relationship rather. So they have huge amounts of anxiety over uncertainty, over not having any sort of clear information. And they're not very clear as to what's going on. They just know that this relationship is, definitely pursuing. And that's why there is this hesitance, or maybe even resistance to this relationship. It's not that this person doesn't want to commit. It's that they don't know how this relationship is going to affect their day-to-day life. They don't know how this is going to affect themselves, period, in regards to other, or, commitments they have in their life, period. So the moon is definitely showing us a lot of things about this person, because this person is very structured. This person is very grounded, Now, the card that brings you two together is the Three of Pentacles. You guys can plan for the future together. I think there is, a lot of teamwork that you guys can put into the relationship, that has been put into the relationship already. You guys have shown each other that you guys can work together in a very wonderful way, right? Well, this person may be able to put in structure, routine, schedules, and, hash out some practical stuff, or even handle the money probably best. You guys are innovative. This person over here is very innovative. They're very, creative in my opinion. They have a lot of creative energy here. There's a lot of teamwork that this relationship can really benefit from, or both parties can really benefit from the partnership of this relationship in regards to building an empire together, building a happy family together, But the problem here lies with the Four of Swords. Now, I don't necessarily think this is about taking a break. This the challenge is not taking a rest, not taking a moment to just be in the moment and to reflect and to enjoy, or to just take a beat and just take it easy. Now, I think it's more having to do with, with a break period. There has been either a separation between you two, some things where you guys had to kind of take some time out to understand for yourselves. And the problem is getting back together to continue to grow your relationship. I'm going to even pull. Why is the Four of Swords the challenge for Gemini's relationship? Why is the Four of Swords the challenge for Gemini's relationship? Also, guys, hopefully I said this in the beginning, but be sure to pick the side that resonates with y'all the most, okay? The Seven of Swords. Okay, so it is about taking a break. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff that you guys are doing right now that you're just not resting with. I think there's a need for rest, or fighting for what you believe in from what you guys just finished reflecting on. Okay, this is there's two messages there. I think both of you guys, for a lot of you guys, is both taking a break and fighting and standing for what you believe in regarding, yourself, right? What truth do you need to implement to the other person, or, integrate into your life so that people can understand, period. I think that's what's going on. I think there's a need for communication from a standpoint that, from everyone's needs and, and points of views. Okay. Let me see. Let's go ahead and pull your romance angel. This is romance angels. Let's pull your power of surrender. Power of surrender cards here. Oh God, surrender worry. Make a commitment not to lead an anxiety-driven life. When worries arise, breathe them out of your body. Focus on the power of your heart and have faith that Spirit is guiding you always. And that is 100% what I'm seeing here. Taking a break is one of the problems, but also knowing that where your guys are going it is fighting for what you believe in. It is fighting for your happiness. It's this person, like I said, is anxious. They're not cool. They're not happy with the uncertainty. They have to consistently know what's coming. They have to have something that's predictable and routine-wise. And it's because they just don't know that they can handle the things that they can't see coming. They can. They just have to believe in themselves. They know that they have structures and boundaries to prepare them for exactly that, the unknown. This person embraces it. This person is afraid of it. And the problem now is really getting on both bandwagons and saying, hey, whatever comes, we can handle it. Don't worry about it. And the break thing is important, because if you guys are constantly doing stuff like the Knight of Swords is indicating, like constantly going, you're not allowing yourself to rejuvenate, replenish those, the things that you're putting out there. So I feel like this person may need the break the most because they're not quite ready for whatever this is, or they're not sure if they can really deal with the moon. But they can. It's just that this is not something that practical thinking, nothing that